Welcome back to Fiercely Unfiltered. I'm your host, Kelly Renee. Today, I'm actually going to go through my thought process on this new information I received since I've recorded these last podcasts. Me recording this podcast have really helped my healing process because once I do the episode on that subject, I'm kind of like downloading it onto a hard drive and forgetting about it. So it's not living in my mind. So it's really been freeing. I've taken a while to put everything together and kind of make sense of it so I could move on. And the way I made sense of it is I didn't take away from the whole marriage. My wedding was one of my favorite days, my best days I can ever remember. And I don't want to taint that memory. So I kind of processed it and put it together like once my mom died, once his grandma died, once his dad died. Once we grew our business from me and him to 100 employees, just life took over and we didn't have the tools to make it through together. And that helped me. It helped me hold on to the memories since he's been a part of my life with my kids their whole childhood. So I don't want to look back at their childhood and have it all be bad memories because of our situation. So I try to look at the good and the positive he brought to my life and not base our whole relationship on the ending. And that's how I live without anger and resentment. But recently I got a DM on Instagram and a girl reached out and she asked me if this was a safe space, that she wanted to tell me something. I said, of course, it's a safe space. What do you want to share? And I never expected her to be sharing something with me about my husband. I thought maybe this episode that I shared all this that went down with me would help other people not feel maybe embarrassed, alone, that they allowed themselves to go through a situation and do things they weren't proud of. But it was actually a female wanting to apologize to me because she let me know that in late 2018 or early 2019, she met my husband online. And I was like, online? You mean a dating site? And she's like, no, not a dating site. It was an arrangement website. She said, I was young at the time. I was trying to make ends meet. He was paying me $500 a week to hang out and have sex. And hearing that, she went into some other details too that aren't really my story to tell. I've been trying to only share stuff that I have receipts for that I went through. And maybe later on, I'll let her share her part of that story. But the part that really affected me most was learning that it wasn't the death of our parents and life that got in the way of our relationship. He was cheating on me since 2018. And he was cheating on me through an arrangement website. This girl was like, I was young. I had a child. I needed to pay my bills. She said, now that I'm married. And the way she came across it was she actually was telling her husband the story, what happened. It was a traumatic event for her in her life, what happened between the two of them in 2018. And she was sharing it with her husband. And she had looked him up on Facebook to show that she'll never forget his face. And when she looked him up, she came across my page somehow in my podcast. So she just said that's the first time she ever knew he was married. And now that she's married with a kid, she is so sorry. She's ashamed and she wishes she would have never done that. But I never blame the female. Like, she doesn't need to do research to see if he's married. This man is coming to her. Like, it's his problem, not her problem. So I'm never blaming the females in situations like that. And what makes me believe this, I'm always going to believe a female. Like, I used to get DMs from females saying, hey, your husband met me at the casino and fucked me without a condom. And I'd be like, what the hell? And there would even be a picture of the two of them. And I'd bring it to him and he'd be like, they probably just want to be with me and break us up. That's the casino reception area by valet. And convince me, I'm like, oh, okay. And then he'd be like, you should block her. And then I'd block the female, which now that I'm going back, it's probably all fucking true. So this female, she apologized for bringing it to me with everything going on, but I needed this because I'm giving people the benefit of the doubt again when they shouldn't have the benefit of the doubt. So now here I am trying to process that he was even cheating on me before all this. And then I'm just like, okay, let me make sense of this. In 2018, that was after he decided he didn't want to go along on the child journey with me. That's when he was like, hey, it's not about the effort, it's about the results. And this isn't working for us. So maybe this isn't our journey. So then I'm like, well, maybe that's when he realized it was over between and he just couldn't have that conversation with me. So maybe that's what happened. And so that was helping me not taint my whole marriage or my whole relationship. So I kind of sat with that. And then I think that was a Monday. And then that Sunday, like not even a week later, I get a DM in my Facebook. And it's a female that I actually know. She was one of his girlfriends before I even met him. And she DM'd me and said, can we talk? I've been trying to heal from this for 21 years. And I'm thinking like, sure. I said, sure. I gave her my number. But I'm thinking, what does she want to talk about? Like, there was a female between me and her with him. So I wasn't sure if she thought they overlapped and she wanted to clarify something. But she called me. And that conversation was probably more eye-opening than the other one. Because she let me know that up till 2009, because that's when we moved from Washington to California, he was still stopping by her work trying to get her to go to a hotel with him. So that was the year he proposed. That's the year we picked up and moved back to California. So to know he was making those promises and plans with me, yet he had ex-girlfriends he was still in communication with, trying to get them to go to hotel rooms with him, starts to taint the whole relationship. And that's what I'm trying to not have happen. I've been sitting with this for a couple weeks. I've been blocking my mind from processing it because every time I start to process it, it scares the shit out of me. Because what does fully processing it mean? Does that mean that I'm so naive that I was with someone that never loved me, that just used me the whole time? What's wrong with me that I didn't see that? And I thought I was pretty far along in this healing journey, but to realize that I didn't see this, that I loved and trusted someone so much that I didn't think worst case. I think worst case in everything, but in this relationship, I chose to trust. I chose to love without judgment. And I chose to believe him. And I chose to believe him over all these other females that probably took a lot of strength and like courage to reach out and tell someone this stuff. And I thank you. And I'm sorry that I didn't listen in the time, but I trusted my husband and I believed him over anyone. That's what I feel like a marriage needs to be. But now that I understand there's people in the world that just use you for their agenda, it just makes my reality scary. And I'm not sure how I'm going to process. Like, I'm processing this live right now with you guys because I'm hoping I never think about this again. But I'm trying to figure out where I go with it. And maybe the lesson I take from this is that I've never known what it is to be loved. Maybe I'm so scared of being in another relationship because how can love hurt you so much? But that wasn't love. That was someone using me. And then when they decided my value wasn't there anymore for what they wanted for their life, I was discarded. I actually texted him after the first female DM me and asked him, I said, hey, can you be honest with me at this point? Were you paying someone $500 a week on an arrangement website in 2018 or 2019. And instead of him responding, he's no longer talking to me. He won't return my calls or my text. We're still dealing with business, and he won't even respond to emails from me. He makes me communicate through this other gentleman that isn't even, he's on our board, but he's not getting paid or anything, that I barely know. But he doesn't want to have to deal with accountability. And when people, like he says, I don't want to live in the past, I'm moving on. That's great. Move on. But you have to have accountability for your actions. And since this happened, I actually don't care if he ever calls me back. I actually never thought I'd say this, but I don't care if I ever talk to him again. Because for someone to put me through the stuff he put me through when he didn't even love me, he could have just been honest and let this in a better way. But it was always, you don't listen. You love me too much. Who are you without me? Just turning this, everything, making it on me and about me and my character to make it worse. But this man has been cheating on me before he married me. And I blindly stood by his side. I blindly believed him. And I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to trust anyone again, because, or maybe I just need to work on some issues with myself where there's something wrong with me, that I see the best in people, or I give them the benefit of the doubt, or maybe I want to believe what he's telling me, so I believe it. I don't know. I thought I was like smart. I thought I could tell things that were going on, but to know I was so blinded, and to know that someone could look me in the eyes and lie to me, have sex with other people, and then unprotected sex with me, and put me in situations I would never put myself in. It just, I don't know, the feeling I get more than disappointment, maybe even disappointment in myself more than anything, because I allowed this. I wasn't smart enough to see it happen or put a stop to it. And I don't understand why, and I'm going to understand why. So this might be a little bit longer of a journey than I thought it was, but to find out that your whole relationship and all the memories you built, like, he could have been having sex with someone, I'm coming home, and then we went on date night. I don't know. Like, did he have sex with someone else and come home and have sex with me? I'm not sure. But I do know there were situations that, like, I just didn't feel right about it. Like one time he came home and I was doing his laundry, because I swear that man didn't do a dish, clean a toilet, do anything when we were together. But I was doing his laundry and there was a receipt in his pocket. And a receipt for 3 people at Cheesecake Factory or one of these restaurants right over here, or right over at Temecula when I used to live in Meadowview. And it was for 3 people, and there was like 7 drinks on it. And it was like a Saturday at noon, and he was supposed to be at the gym. And I was like, whose receipt is this? He's like, oh, I don't know. It must have just been left in my pocket from something else. Maybe I picked up the wrong receipt. I don't know. I didn't go anywhere. I'm like, okay. And it just didn't sit right with me. So I look at the receipt and I see the last 4 of the credit card number. So I look up, do we have any credit cards with this last 4 number? And we did. So I got on the online account and looked it up, and there was a charge to the restaurant. And I was like, So I asked him, I said, well, how come if this is someone else's receipt, the charge is on our credit card on all our own account? He's like, okay, I didn't want to have to tell you this, but one of our employees is cheating on his wife, and he was at lunch with his girlfriend, and he didn't have any cash. So I told him I'd pay for it. So now he doubled down, and now he's telling me that somebody I know is cheating on his wife. And I know both these people. Now I'm in a situation where, do I tell them, or do I think he's lying to cover something up? And my gut just didn't feel right. So I kept it quiet. I wasn't sure. I actually wasn't sure if he was lying or not. And that's a shitty situation. And then I felt very uncomfortable going to work every day with this guy. Like, I'm looking at him, I'm thinking, is he cheating on his wife? Or is my husband cheating on me and using this, knowing I'd be uncomfortable to bring it up to him and knowing he'd probably get away with it if this is a lie he said. But for people to lie, bring other people in the lie, like, what's my reality? It's whatever he wanted it to be to get the outcome he wanted. And now that I'm thinking about back to our relationship, I think of things like, did he do that on purpose to set this whole thing up for his narrative to play out the way he wanted to play out? But that's when I need to stop myself. Like, I could go down a rabbit hole. It's been a hard couple of weeks for me. It's been harder to get up and do what I needed to do. I could honestly lay in bed and cry for a week, just letting my mind go down a rabbit hole on every memory I had. Every question I questioned something, was I right? Was he lying to my face then? And my answer is yes, he probably was. And he doesn't even want to have a conversation with me or explain it to me or even acknowledge that I exist at this point. And for me, the silent treatment is something I've dealt with him. That's probably part of the reason why I kept sleeping with him for a couple years, because I knew if I stood up for myself that he'd just cut me off and I'd lose everything. But to just treat someone like shit and then not address it with them, like if you have the balls to act like that, then you should have the balls to look that person in the eyes and let them know why you did that or talk it out so they don't have to live with that. But I'm never going to get that. I am accepting an apology I'm never going to get. I'm going to move on past this because I understand, like, I'm not going to get honest answers from someone who lied in my face our whole relationship. So that's just not in my cards. And I want to thank those two females for reaching out to me. I'm sorry that we're all healing from things from the same man. I'm sure there's going to be more people reaching out. But hopefully this, and the one female also that lived there, she just wanted to thank me that I put my story out there because she said this is the one relationship of hers that she was so confused. Like, she still doesn't understand what happened. And that's exactly how I feel. And she also said that there were times when she would find females' underwear and clothes in his laundry. And he would say it was his sister's. And she would be like, this doesn't feel right. And her family, this guy is such a good talker that sometimes, like, he almost would convince me I'm a crazy bitch. And I was living in the situation. And she said, my family didn't understand it. No one understood what I was going through because they didn't see it. They thought I was crazy. And for me to put it out there, she realized she wasn't crazy and that there wasn't anything else to finish with him, that she didn't need an apology in a last conversation that we both thought we needed still. And we both realized that maybe that last conversation we needed was with each other. And now we follow each other. We're supporting each other. And that's how women should do it. We shouldn't let men's bad behavior turn us against each other. Like, I blocked some of these females when all they were doing was trying to help me. And I blocked them because he convinced me that he was just so great that they wanted him and they were getting in the middle of our relationship. Like, and I wanted to believe that I had such a great man in a relationship that women were trying to break us up so they could be with him. That's not the reality of it, guys. Like, take it for what it is. So after this, I don't want to think about it anymore. I want to remember my marriage, my wedding day, all the memories we had as a family as good ones. And I don't want it to taint it by his actions. And is that stupid and not living in reality? I'm not sure, but that's what I need to do right now. Maybe later on my mind will change, but where I am right now, I can't take the reality that I've never been in a relationship that someone actually loved me. And I don't know what that feels like. And that's, I don't know, it could be an exciting thing because maybe I'm going to finally have that someday. And it's going to be something I've never experienced. And it's going to be something I'm going to appreciate because I've had to go through all this. So that when that did come, I understood it was a blessing. So for everyone healing from hurt that was caused by someone else, Let's just accept an apology we're never going to get. And let's figure out what we can change about ourselves that we don't allow ourselves to be in a situation like that ever again. Until next time, your vibe, untouchable. Stay fiercely unfiltered.